The soft wind carries a quiet warmth through the late afternoon sky as the old town glows in gentle gold light and the air smells faintly of roses and fresh bread from the small bakery near the square. Helen stands alone outside the little white church wrapped in a plain blue dress that has seen many seasons. Her hands rest gently on the fabric as she breathes in slowly, trying to keep her heart steady inside her chest. She has spent the whole day gathering the strength to be here today, a day she thought she would never need to face again, for behind those church doors her past is wearing a black suit and a smile that once made her believe in forever, and today that past is marrying someone else. The sound of bells rings softly across the street like an old song, and Helen feels her knees weaken. For a brief moment she wonders why she came at all, but something deep in her heart whispers that sometimes healing comes when you walk through pain, not away from it. Her eyes lift and find a tall man standing a few steps away near the gate. He is dressed in a dark gray suit and his hair holds the silver touch of time. His name is William, and his face carries the calm strength of a man who has walked through storms and learned to keep his hands gentle. He notices her trembling fingers and takes a quiet step closer. His voice is warm, low, steady, like the sound of an old record player in the evenings. Helen, he says softly, though they have never met before. He speaks as if her name belongs in the kindness of his tone. She looks at him, unsure what to say, and something inside her spills out without planning it. She whispers, "Will you pretend to be my date just for one day?" The words hang in the air like a fragile bird, but William does not let them fall. His eyes do not question her worth or her reason. He simply nods once with quiet grace, as if kindness is not a favor but a way of being. Helen breathes out slowly. The knot in her chest loosens just enough for her to walk toward the door with him beside her, and for the first time in a long time she feels the steady presence of someone who expects nothing from her. They walk through the open door together, and the scent of white lilies wraps around them like a soft shawl. The wooden pews shine with age and memory. The guests turn their heads briefly curious, but William keeps his hand light on her arm, a silent promise that she is not alone. The music plays low and gentle like the old songs that once filled warm summer nights in their younger days, and Helen remembers dancing under lantern light with barefoot friends, laughter rising into the sky like small stars. She remembers a time when everything felt endless. She sits beside William and listens to the ceremony, her heart aching but no longer breaking, and as she watches the bride and groom exchange vows she realizes something quietly beautiful. She is not here to win anything back, she is here to let go. William leans slightly closer, his voice like a warm breeze. "You are doing well," he says, not as someone who needs to fix her pain but as someone who understands it, and she looks at him grateful in a way words cannot shape. As the couple kisses, the church fills with gentle applause, and Helen closes her eyes for a moment, letting the sound wash over her like rain on old stone. There is no bitterness, only the soft weight of memory. Outside the church the evening sky has deepened into soft blue, and lanterns flicker to life one by one down the cobblestone path. The reception is set beneath a wide white tent where strings of light hang like glowing threads connecting one heart to another. Helen and William walk slowly down the path, their steps falling in quiet rhythm, and somewhere deep inside her chest an old wound finally begins to breathe. The music at the reception is soft and familiar, the kind that carries you back to warm kitchens and open windows and the scent of summer pies. William offers her his hand, not as a man claiming a woman but as a soul offering a moment. She places her hand in his and they step gently onto the small wooden dance floor. Her dress brushes softly against his trousers. The rhythm is slow enough for them to simply sway under the lights like two old souls meeting in the middle of life with no rush and no demand. As they dance, Helen remembers when her parents would hold each other on their small porch in the soft glow of sunset, without words, without plans, just hearts quietly trusting time. William speaks softly as they move. "I once came to a wedding alone," he says, "and someone kind offered to sit beside me. It was a small thing, but it made the evening gentle." Helen listens and feels the weight of shared stories in his voice, the way only older hearts can share without needing to explain everything. The night stretches gently and the laughter around them is warm, not loud but steady, like the crackle of an old fire in winter. People raise glasses and share toasts, and Helen finds herself smiling not out of politeness but because her heart has begun to remember how. They sit at a small wooden table near the edge of the tent and Helen takes a sip of water, feeling the coolness settle softly inside her. William watches the lanterns flicker in the breeze and says sometimes kindness is just showing up when someone needs it, not because we have answers but because being there is enough. Helen looks at him and something in her chest shifts, a quiet truth settling in the space between them. She realizes that for so many years she had been waiting for grand gestures, for someone to save her from sadness, but tonight it is the quiet presence of a stranger that has given her a kind of peace she did not know she needed. The bride and groom walk by laughing and glowing with the bright light of young love. Helen smiles and whispers a silent wish for their joy, not because it is easy but because she knows now that love can take many shapes and kindness is one of them. As the night grows deeper, the music slows and the crowd thins until only a few gentle voices remain. William offers to walk her home and she accepts. They step into the cool night where the crickets sing and the moon shines softly on the empty streets. The walk is quiet in the way that feels full, not empty. Their steps fall steady on the old stones and Helen feels safe, not because she is being held but because she is being seen. They stop at her gate, the old wooden one that has been there since her father built it with his own hands so many years ago. It creaks gently when she opens it and the sound feels like an old friend. She turns to William, her heart calm like the surface of a still lake. Thank you, she whispers, not because she needs to fill the silence but because the words belong here. He smiles and nods and his eyes hold that quiet understanding that comes with time. He does not ask for anything, not a promise, not a future. He simply lifts his hat slightly, a gesture from another time, and walks back down the path, leaving her with the warm weight of kindness in her chest. Helen steps inside her little house where the walls are lined with photographs and shelves of books. The old clock ticks softly in the corner. She places her shawl on the chair and stands for a long moment, letting the evening settle into her bones. She moves to the window and looks out at the night, the lanterns near the church still glowing faintly in the distance. She touches the wooden frame with gentle fingers as memories rise and settle like soft feathers around her. In the quiet she realizes that pain has not vanished, but it no longer owns her. It now rests beside something new, something steady. She does not have a word for it, but it feels like the warmth of hands wrapped around a cup of tea on a cool morning, like sunlight through curtains, like a stranger's gentle nod when your heart needs it most. The days that follow are simple in their kindness. Helen tends her garden and listens to the radio. In the mornings she greets neighbors with soft smiles and lets the light touch her face. She no longer carries the weight of being left behind because she has stepped into the quiet strength of being here now. William begins to visit, sometimes just to share tea and stories of old music and slow dances. They talk about the books they loved in their youth, about summer nights by the river, about the small things that made them who they are. Their bond is not rushed, not forced. It grows like ivy on an old wall, steady, gentle, patient, and full of green life. And every time they part, Helen feels a soft warmth linger, like the last glow of sunset on her skin. One afternoon they sit on the porch as the sky paints itself in soft pinks and oranges. William leans back and laughs, a quiet laugh that carries a hint of the boy he once was. Helen listens and joins in, and the sound blends with the song of the evening breeze. She realizes then that love at this age is not about fireworks or promises. It is about presence, about being seen and held in the quiet ways that matter most. It is about kindness that does not demand or decorate itself with noise. Years have a way of softening sharp edges and teaching hearts the language of stillness. Helen has walked through her share of storms, and tonight she sits under the open sky with someone who understands what it means to simply be. She looks out at the world and whispers softly to herself that kindness can change a day, a season, a life, not because it fixes the past but because it opens the door to the present. The crickets sing their evening hymn and the air smells of warm earth and roses, and Helen smiles in that slow, deep way that only comes when you have lived enough to know the weight of pain and the gift of grace. The night folds itself gently around her like a soft quilt, and she lets it hold her without fear, without longing, only with the quiet understanding that sometimes the smallest kindness can be the beginning of a beautiful new chapter. Her heart is no longer waiting at the doorstep of what was. It is resting peacefully in the gentle arms of what is, and in that stillness she finds a love that asks for nothing and gives everything, a love that looks like kindness whispered softly into the night.